Hey everybody, I hope you can hear me properly. I'm setting this up in the car. I'm in the middle of traffic. But I just was introduced to the dude named Andrew Tate, which I guess everyone knows at this point. He is like coming up on everybody's feeds and YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and so, obviously everybody probably knows about him, but he inspired me to make a video, and I basically realized what's going on with him because, anytime I think about anything in life, any person, and try to understand it or whatever is going on, it comes from the place of Christianity, first and foremost, through the Bible, and then from there I try to understand what's going on, right? So with the Andrew Tate guy, it's obviously kind of difficult with that perspective to try to understand what this guy is all about. Right off the bat, I'll tell you guys, he's very much like Donald Trump and Kanye West as far as the seemingly narcissistic attitude, pride, and just even the success, right? Like, because the success of Trump, success of Kanye West, and this guy, I guess, is extremely successful. The most concerning thing about this guy is the fact that he first got rich off of like cam girls, I guess. Basically, I don't know the details. He said it was just talking. Women would talk to men, but it's probably pornography. Basically, he started like a pornography website. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could have been just like, the chat where you talk to them on the phone, you can hear their voice. Maybe sexually, most likely, right? How are you making that much money? $1 million off of it. If it's not, unless it's like counseling. Yeah. Let's just, I'm gonna assume, I could be wrong, it's pornography. So he basically started a porn website and made his first $1 million. So off of right there, it's like, that's a little bit of a red flag as far as, okay, you got successful and now you're saying you're preaching the truth at this point, but the only reason why you're successful and have the money you have is because of starting a porn website. So that's yeah, but okay, let's just start with that. But he's not saying he's a Christian. He keeps on saying that he doesn't care if it's the Muslim God or the Christian God. He's a God-fearing man, I guess. He didn't say it in that way. He just says he always mentions God as far as being a man that acknowledges that God exists and he wants to please God. Kind of. I've heard him say that a couple of times. But I'll get to my point, which is I think I figured it out. And this is what I think is going on. And even with the Kanye West and the Trump, with these type of people, there's a lot of type of these people, right? They're working from the bottom up, right? And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. Which is, they learn everything they learn and know is from experience. Like even this guy Andrew Tate talks about it a lot as far as his bias, his experience. He uses that a lot because he believes he's connected with the truth because he goes through life and he's honest with himself. He's honest with what's going on. And I do commend that a lot. Like he's very much against vaccines and all that stuff, which I love about it. And he's like, he says he's like anti-government and all this, is like to the point where it's like, okay, right? But he's starting from the ground up, so you cannot blame him, right? And I'm explaining what I mean by that, right? So he started from the ground up. He tries this thing, he fails. He talks this way, he fails, and he learns. And this is what Kanye West did too, I think, in building himself up a little here, a little here. He's fearless, and he learns from the ground up. Everything he's doing is stepping out in faith, trying it out, failing, experiencing what it feels like, experiencing what he did wrong, fixing it, but working hard day by day to build up to the point where he's successful. He's rich, famous, and learns about just life in general through this ground up approach, through this hard work, through this experiential knowledge day by day, right? Now, now that's one way to experience life and gain knowledge of life, right? That's one way, to ground up. Now the other way is from the top down, right? What is the top down? The top down is like reading books like the Bible, reading books like the Quran, or religious texts, right? Because you could be a poor child, you could be a nobody, you could be nothing, and then start to learn about God, the creator of all things, and you can become extremely knowledgeable about life and truth and all these different things. And you start to like study all the spiritual texts, you differentiate what's true and what's false, you learn about prophecies, all these different things, right? That's working from the top down. That's from working from the top down, right? So the difference is, like, if you're working from the top down, you can become some like spiritual guru, prophet, but you never worked a business, you never did anything to be successful in this like regular life, in this worldly kind of way of things, like the way that Kanye West built himself up, the way that Andrew Tate or Donald Trump did, right? Trump started companies and businesses and all these different things to get himself rich and successful, right? Now, a person that starts on the top bottom, you can now have a relationship with the Most High God through starting from the top bottom, from the top down. But you could at the same time, you might not be very successful in this life, right? And you may not have learned through experience as much as you learned through knowledge of reading a book, right? And it could be the idea of street smart versus book smart, right? And I guess at the same time, it can still also apply to somebody that maybe not reading spiritual books, but also just reading books about knowledge of life, right? And you haven't started working yet or done anything, but you're just gaining so much knowledge, right? So you're working from the top and then down. So I think Andrew Tate is extremely working from the bottom up, right? And even Einstein, right? I read one of his books, and I think I realized he works also from the bottom up, right? Because when I mean up, like God is up. And so if you get to the point where you really don't know much about God, but you have all this knowledge about the world, at the end of the day, it could be in vain. It could be vanity. Like if you read the book Ecclesiastes, dude, Solomon, right? Just went on trying everything under the sun, businesses, planting, harvesting, girls, drugs, this, that, and the third, everything. And if he really did come to the perfect knowledge of everything in this world, and he said it's vanity, it's nothingness, you know what I mean? He basically realized nothing in his life matters, right? And the idea of the book of Ecclesiastes is that nothing matters unless it's the will of God, unless you're doing God's will, unless you're doing God's work at the end of the day, right? He kind of came to the conclusion that he said, like, obeying God's commands, a couple different things he concluded with, where it's like, these are the only things that really matter. He even, like, at one point he said, like, for a worldly person, it's just work, enjoying the reaping the benefits of your work, right? And that's what these guys mostly do. This is all their life is. It's just enjoying the work. Day by day, they work, they accomplish something, and they enjoy the fruit of it. But at the end of the day, when they die, everything they own and everything is going to get put on somebody else's hand, and everything. Who knows what's going to happen if it gets put in somebody else's hand and then it all gets stolen or something, right? It's just, what was the point of it, right? But anyway, so I figured it out, and I'm like, okay, these guys are working from the bottom up. And I pride myself on working from the top down, right? And I'm very not successful in this world. Like, I'll be straightforward with you guys. Like, I cannot boast that I'm successful. I cannot boast that I have a good job, make a lot of money, all that stuff, right? But I feel like I could boast sometimes that I have some kind of spiritual wisdom, which I don't think it's appreciated. It's not only is it not appreciated by most people in this world, I don't think it's even seen or noticed, or even able to be seen or noticed by most people on earth. So, but I take pride in that. I find my confidence in my life walking around. I'm confident in myself because of I guess the work I put in to know the truth as far as who is God, who is Jesus, who is Muhammad, who is Baha'u'llah, What are these religions about, right? All these different things, like just trying to figure it out. What are we gonna do when we die? What's gonna happen? This, that. Has Jesus returned or not? Right? Who are the true Israelites? Is the earth flat or ball? What's another one? Just things like that. And I'm like, those are the things that I care about, right? You know, those are the things that I like to learn about. At this point, it might change, you know, but I'm still learning about those things. But at the same time, I look at a dude like Andrew Tate, who, when he talks about God, all he can say is, well, I don't know if it's the Muslim God or the Jesus or the Christian God, but I like God. Like that's his knowledge about you know. It's like, okay, bro, yeah, you just haven't really studied it. And it's like, I personally think that puts me or anybody else that has dived into that to top down above him, and he's so successful and rich and all these things, right? Because, you know, I think it's more important. But, and this is where it comes in, the Bible says, and this is where I always get caught up, if you do not provide for your family and your relatives, you're worse than an unbeliever. It says work hard so that you can give to those in need, right? So some verses like that like hit me because I struggle with that side of the thing so much, right? And Andrew Tate over here, providing for his friends, providing for his family, his relatives, built basically a kingdom for his family because of his hard work that he worked with his hands. And I'm over here, maybe even worse than an unbeliever, right? I could be worse than an unbeliever because I struggle with that. I struggle providing for my family and for my relatives. Like my relatives, are you kidding me? So you can see what's going on here. And I know for a fact most Christians will look at it like an Andrew Tate and be like, and that's what they did with Trump. A lot of Christians did it with Trump. A lot of Christians do this with Kanye. It's hard because they're stuck in a pickle. They're like, oh, this dude is like standing up for a lot of things that Christians would stand up for more than pastors would. Like, I'll give you a quick example. Andrew Tate publicly and unapologetically keeps on talking about coronavirus and exposing how, like, he's talking to people, he's saying, you guys never met anybody with coronavirus dying from it, yet you're scared enough to take the vaccine and all these things. Like, just things that's like, oh shoot, he really said that? Like, and he's famous and he'll say it in front of everybody, like, he just said that? Like, and he's talking about like just how, like, he's like he can't believe that people are getting these vaccines. Like, it's just like everything that people like me are thinking, and he just says it so plain and straightforward. It's amazing, right? And then you got pastors. I went to a local church the other day. He's like, hey, and it makes me pissed to the core of my being, guys. I went to the pastor at the end of this service. Said, oh, we're having a car wash to make some money. But that's not a bad part. We're having a car wash, which would be nice. I was like, oh yeah, I want to go and meet the brothers in Christ at this church, right? He said, we're going to have a car wash, but then right next door, we're going to be giving out vaccines and boosters. He said, if you guys already got the vaccine and the booster, you guys can get another booster. You can have, and he's like, almost like, it's like joking, but he goes, you can have the booster on the booster on the booster on the booster. And I don't know if they're selling these or if they're giving them away free, but he's like, you guys can have the booster and the booster and the booster. Like, whoa. Like, he went to the extreme. Like, there's two extremes. There's one extreme, which is like, I'm not getting vaccine, I'm not doing this, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm just going outside freely, right? And then there's like, and I'm talking about for a pastor to go in the other extreme, but like, he must be just had to stand on this like belief. I don't know what got him to this point. Oh yeah, we're getting vaccinated, we're getting boosters, we're giving out boosters at our church, and we're a local church when we have like 100 people in the church, but yeah, we're gonna vaccinate the whole town. Like, wow, like, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happens to a pastor. Like, what in the world is that process like? Like, you don't read Psalms 91? Like, oh man. But anyways, guys, this video is about basically like breaking down Andrew Tate and how to correctly think about him, especially if you're a Christian. So yes. So I would put him in the same category. We think about Andrew Tate the same way we think about Trump or Kanye West, right? These are guys who like almost kind of claim to be like Christian in a way. And it's like, for Christians, we're like, nah, it don't seem right, you know, right? But this is why it don't seem right. I'm trying to break it down why it don't seem right. But at the same time, it's like God uses these type of people, maybe sometimes more than pastors and church-going Christians, because even Christians will not say the things that Andrew Tate is saying, and it's the truth that's helping many people. If you speak the truth, and the only reason why if you know the truth and you don't speak it is because you're scared of losing friends, of getting killed. I don't know what it is. Fear of men. This is all it is. This is what happened even in biblical times. The Pharisees had fear of men. They wouldn't say certain things in front of the crowds because it's all like a herd mentality. Your friends groups, everybody this. You want to make sure you keep everyone liking you or thinking you're cool or whatever it is. So you make sure you don't say anything wrong. You say everything everybody loves. You want to know what everybody wants, and you say that or you do that for them, to make sure that you're the king. And that's not what Jesus did, right? So, and the whole narcissistic thing, I realized like two things about this narcissistic type of people is Andrew Tate even said it, and it matches kind of what Jesus had said. Andrew Tate said, if I didn't say that I'm like a good upright man, if I didn't say I'm successful and smart, I would be lying to you guys. So like he kind of basically saying like I'm like how he boasts in himself all the time. He's like, I'm one of the coolest dudes ever, like I'm so smart, right? But he basically said, if I didn't say that, I would be lying. I have to. That's because it's true, right? And we hear Jesus saying that one time where it's like he was like trying to tell people who he was, right? And he was saying like, I'm the Son of God. I've been sent here to this, that, and the third. And people were about to stone him like, who do you think you are? What authority have you given you this to flip over the tables in the church, whatever, in the synagogue, all these different things. And Jesus is sitting here trying to tell them who, like, oh yeah, he said, I have never sinned, right? Or something like this. I don't know. I could be just mixing everything up. But the point is, like, I'm giving an example here. It could be wrong. It's like as if Jesus was like, guys, I never sinned. And everybody's looking at him like, you're right. Who do you think you are? You're a human being. How can you say you never sinned? And Jesus is like, if you want me to just say I sinned, I would be lying like you guys about everything when you say you don't sin. The Pharisees are lying by putting on this facade and saying, we've never sinned, we're not sinners, right? And Jesus sitting here saying, I'm not a sinner. It sounds the same as the Pharisees, yet the Pharisees lying. And Jesus said, I have to say it, even though it sounds just like you guys. I have to say it because it's true. And if I didn't say it, I would be liars like you guys who are claiming to be not sinners. So, and that's the type of thing that happens with like a Trump, a Kanye West, like when they say like, guys, if I didn't let you know the truth about who I am, I'm a genius, right? Kanye West always saying he's a genius. Because if he is a genius, then he has the right to say it, right? Even though it sounds crazy to most of us, right? Or Trump when he says some kind of like, I'm the best president or whatever. If he is, he says it, he's telling the truth. You can't really get mad at him for telling the truth, right? So that's why it sounds so narcissistic. But like there's a verse, Abraham, right? Abraham, it says in the Bible, anybody who blessed him was blessed, and anybody who cursed him was cursed, right? What if, I think of Abraham and he knew this about himself. He said he knows, he's walking around, anybody who was nice to him, like gave him some water, gave him something nice, a gift or whatever, anybody, and they did that to Abraham, he knew that they were going to get blessed by God. In the moment, in the day, a couple of days later, a week later, their lives would be blessed because God would reward them for blessing Abraham. Now, what if when Abraham acknowledged this about himself and seen it happening and knew this is a promise that God gave to him, wouldn't he tell somebody he loved, like, don't mess with me, please, I love you, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my friend, do not be mean to me, bless me. I'm not doing this I'm not saying to bless me for my own sake. And Paul said this even in the Gospels, but I'm saying bless me because God has blessed me, and anybody who blesses me is blessed. So bless me so that you can be blessed because I love you. Abraham, like I'm saying, I'm speaking for Abraham. So that's kind of like, in a way, what's going on with these guys. He's like basically saying, I'm a genius, listen to me, and you'll be blessed. Okay, and if you don't listen to me, you go on you'll be poor still or something, right? Because that's what Andrew Tate is telling. He wants everybody to be rich, right? So it's like, it just sounds to us like it's crazy, narcissistic, and mental illness, but he's actually could be telling us the truth, right? So, yeah, and Paul said it about a certain church giving him money. He said, guys, listen, I'm asking you to give me money. You guys may sound like I'm asking for my own sake so I can have your money and use it on clothes and lavish living, but I'm actually asking you guys to give to me so that you guys will be blessed. And that's basically the Abraham blessing that must have been on Paul as well, right? Anybody who blessed Paul was blessed. Anybody. So, and I've seen that in my life happen too. Like, I don't know if it happens to me more when I'm in a holy lifestyle or not or whatever, but I've seen it happen where people that have messed with me negatively have been disciplined by God, and they don't know that the reason why that bad thing just happened is because they treated me bad, right? And some children of God, that I think they could pick up on it, as long as they're going through life in an honorable way. I mean, obviously, if they're doing things wrong, it's not going to work out. But if you're like living a righteous lifestyle and somebody messes with you, does something wrong, and you leave room for the vengeance of God, the person that messed you is going to get punished by God. And in the same way, anybody who blesses you, you're going to see their life blessed. So sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't know I'm carrying this kind of this reciprocal blessing thing. Maybe I should let my loved ones know so they don't like mess up their, and I know it's a cliche thing. Some Christians will be like, oh yeah, don't steal my blessing or something, because it's like they'll try to give somebody money and they're like, no, I don't want it. And a Christian will be like, oh, don't mess up my blessing, like, because it's like kind of a joke, because they're saying, if I give you money, I'm actually get more blessed, So, and then even the Bible says, if you even give a cup of cold water to one of God's own, you will not lose your reward. So, anyways, all that to just kind of speak on like the Andrew Tate situation, and I just think we should acknowledge him the same way we acknowledge Donald Trump and Kanye West, as far as they're almost like worldly people that, if you can just think about it in a way of like, they're not Christians, but they're not claiming to be Christian, but they're also God-fearing. Like, there's been a person in the Bible that's like, oh, he built it was like some kind of Roman or something, right? And he built the synagogues or something for the Jews, and all the Jews loved him. Like, who knows, he wasn't a Jew, but he did a lot of work for the Jews, and he helped them, he blessed them. Who knows what kind of lifestyle he was living? He could have been a very sinful, rich, lavish lifestyle. He was living nothing at all like the Jews, probably eating pork, probably doing anything. But the Jews loved him and appreciated that he used his worldly influence and things to help the Jews, right? And build them things and all this stuff, right? So I would think of these guys in that boat as the Roman on the side, who the Jews are looking at like, yeah, he's not a Jew, we may not do our practices, but at the same time, we're gonna ask God to bless him because he's been a blessing to us, right? And so the Andrew Tate dude, I think he could be helping a lot of people in this life, in the current state that we're living with, like he says, the school systems, everything is that the medical systems at this point, we should not be a part of these things. They're all completely false, completely just ruined. Like, it's like we're at a point where we need to break free. Kanye West is doing this too. Like, in school, we need to start learning trades. We need to start figuring out what we're actually good at, what we need to learn, what we need to do in life, what is our calling, what do we, like, certain things going on, because the world system is getting turned into the beast, into the Antichrist system. We need to be actually different, apart from it. At some point, it's going to be clearer than it is. Right now, it's a little muddy because like everything's still kind of mixed up. There's going to be an Antichrist world system government, and then you have to not take the mark of the beast, and you will be excluded from that system. So that's what you need to start kind of following what Andrew Tate is saying, because the time is coming when you're going to need to be independent of that system to be able to provide for your family and provide for your relatives. So there's a lot of things that this guy can really help with, I think. And anyways, guys, God bless you. Hope you got a good message here. In Jesus' name, amen.